Russell Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
Hey, what's going on, guys? What is happening? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, our NBA draft, Sixers draft target special continues with, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm just gushing over this kid. When I watch tape on this guy, by far one of the most fun tape watches I've done this year. And joining me today is my man, Tiago, one of the best Sixers followers, period. Please give him a follow on Twitter at @tscabia. You'll thank me later. How you doing, Tiago?
Yeah, man, we're back. We're talking about some more prospects here. Trey Murphy, man, this guy is fun. Like you said, he when he touches the ball, he jumps off the film.
Yeah.
He absolutely jumps off the film. This guy is going to be an interesting prospect, and it's going to be fun to talk about him. All
right, let's start the tape here. But this is Trey Murphy. Tiago, tell us a little bit about Trey Murphy, man.
Yeah, Trey Murphy, transfer out of Rice, joined Virginia programs last year. And really exploded, man. Like you watch him last year, this guy just screams off the tape. Athleticism for days, runs up and down the court. If you like that processy type of prospect, right? So a kind of guy who may not be ready next year, but then can all of a sudden explode into the scene like a Jeremy Grant, for instance. He is the guy, man. And no, he entered the NBA draft with the potential to opt out. So it's not 100% sure that he will be in the NBA draft come July. But if I'm Trey Murphy and I'm watching Virginia's program, how they run their offense, and I can have the option to be coached by an NBA program, I think the decision should be very, very clear for him. The question is where he will fall in the draft and how much money he may lose in the process or win. But man, he's a guy, like if he's there with the Sixers at the end of that first round, it would be tough to say no.
Oh my God, man. Like this is it. This is like I had the same feeling like when I was watching Matisse Thybulle before the draft. Like when I watched Matisse Thybulle at Washington, I was just gushing. Absolutely gushing. This is it. Like you look at his length, you look at his just unbelievable, like Megatronish athleticism getting to the rim. This guy is a nightmare attacking the basket on defenses. Just a really impressive prospect. Tiago, tell us a little bit about his strengths.
So it's funny because it took me like 4 or 5 different watches to understand what Trey Murphy really does, because he rarely touches the ball. And like that is not a criticism. He is in the 99th percentile in half court offense. So when he touches the ball, it's usually a basket. So then you start asking yourself, like, oh, where does that happen, right? 3-point shooting, phenomenal spot-up shooter. He's got a little bit of a longer release and something he's going to have to work on, but in the corner, spot-up shooting, he knocks it down. And then you guys are watching here on the tape, in space, the guy's an athletic freak, man. Like, he will attack, cut, screen and dive. At 6'9", 206 with a 7'1" wingspan, this guy can finish at the rim with power, authority. So offensively, you start seeing where all that athleticism, all that shooting works. But man, like we go defensively, and that's really where it's exciting, because this guy's athleticism projects very, very well as a point of attack defender. And you start thinking about defending not only quicker guards, but also guys who come off screen. So like a Duncan Robinson or a JJ Redick, he's a prototypical player you want defending these types of players, because he has the speed, the size, the length, the athleticism, all there's that to meet the shooter at the release point. So man, it's a bundle of a lot of potential energy. And he represents all of it.
You look at that, like you saw a lot of clips just now of his ability to defend in space and on the perimeter, like his foot speed, his wingspan. He seems to be well coached defensively. Like this guy absolutely has it all. And one of my favorite players of all time is actually Tayshaun Prince. And when I was watching the tape of this guy, that's the first name that came to me. Like we remember, Tiago, you're like the same age as me. Like just Tayshaun just giving Allen Iverson fits on the perimeter, just giving him absolutely nothing. And that's kind of how I see it. kid is just he has so many measurements that if I were to go back in time like 3 or 4 years ago, like I would probably draft this. This guy would be super high on my board, super high. Just what he brings, and what he brings is catch and shoot, and then just an off-ball weapon. You look at him in the catch and shoot. 51% of his offense came in the catch and shoot. Like you said, Thiago, he's 6'8", 7'1" wingspan. He can play the 3 or 4. He definitely needs to bulk up a little bit, but catch and shoot, man, 1.75 points per possession on catch and shoots. So if you're talking about a guy in the late first round, second round, you want a guy that can be that complementary piece with Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Like, this is it. Like, he's like, this is actually like a perfect fit for the Philadelphia 76ers. Can defend the pick and roll. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just like gushing. But what are some of his weaknesses, Thiago?
First of all, Chris, thanks for revealing my age to the folks around. That was very nice of you. I was just joking. Yeah, I mean, so all those things you mentioned, right? It's all there, but you have to put it together. The kid is 20 years old. There's room to grow. The shooting specifically, I think it works in a spot-up environment, but he's not a guy who can manufacture his own shot. And when you watch Virginia closely, they have to do a lot to get him open. I mean, he's not a guy who can get open by himself. Again, he has a good handle, a great handle action. I think there's a lot of potential there from development to a monster at power forward. But right now, it's not all there. So if he's trying to, pull up shooting, shooting off the dribble, those things, it's something that he's going to have to work on. And that part of it is, it's kind of shortening his shooting mechanics. It's a little bit long. It's a little bit deliberate. So, but again, in space, when he has time to shoot, it's not a problem at all, like you said.
We have MPC Smith 1 saying, "Good morning, gents. Merry playoffs. Let's go. Sixers take on the Wizards tomorrow." We have this weirdo saying, "Go Sixers."
Nice. Very nice.
But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of like the main mystery I have. What is this guy's potential in the DHO? Because you look at this highlight reel, 83% cutting, 83% field goal percentage of this guy cutting to the basket, unstoppable getting to the basket. I love the way this guy just explodes at the rim, moving off ball. But you look at Virginia's offense, and we didn't really see a lot of him, in handoffs and shooting and all that stuff. Does this guy have that potential, do you think? Like, where does he list there?
I mean, that's the key question. I think it's a great question because for me, he needs to be an NBA program to bring all those things out of him. I mean, Virginia's offense, for lack of a better term, is painful to watch. And he's a lot of time, he's just ball watching, setting screens, like not doing a lot. He's just kind of a little ball watcher. So in the NBA, man, these guys are so creative with the way they deploy these players. A team like Miami, for instance, who draws so much out of these athletic players would just be in love with a player like this. So yes, I do think there's potential to unlock a lot more offensive from him, off motion, off screens, dribble. I mean, you see him take guys off the dribble at 6'9". Imagine him at 21, 22 at maybe 220, 215, taking power forwards off the dribble as a stretch four. I mean, that is a real skill in the NBA. So, but again, he has to commit, I think, and he has to put his name out there and live with the consequence of perhaps not being like a top 20, top 15 player, but knowing that a year, 2 years down the line, this guy could be a big time force in the NBA. So he has to make that decision ultimately.
Yeah, and you look at his assist to turnover ratio, 3.2 to 1, assist to turnover ratio, 5.3, turnover percentage. Super unselfish. Just a great off-ball player. Again, like you said, I'd be, if he's there in the late first round, lock it in. I'm running to the podium if I'm Doc Rivers or Daryl Morey. So let's talk about his fit with the Sixers, man. How do you see this guy fitting in Philadelphia?
So I don't think the fit is immediate right away, and I think that's okay. I mean, he's not a guy you're going to draft and you'd be like, now you're part of my rotation. The Sixers are in a part of their win curve, which says championship or bust. So they would have a guy like Tyrese Maxey on the roster who was getting more and more playing time. So you start introducing more and more 20, 21-year-old guys into your roster, it can get a little bit tricky. But this is the perfect guy you want in your system. Give him a little spot minutes every now and then, have him in the G League.
Yeah.
And thinking long-term. So long-term for the Sixers perhaps means you may not be able to bring back a Matisse Thybulle for contract reasons. Or perhaps you trade a Matisse Thybulle or a Paul Reed or something like that. So these are the guys in your system that if something like this happens, now they're ready. Because again, he's not Matisse Thybulle, but his impact defensively, in my opinion, can be pretty high. And the Sixers are pretty clear about how they want to win in the NBA. At least right now, they want to win with defense. So he slots that culture perfectly. Again, may not be this year, it may not even be next year, but you have him in your system. You have him in the G League working on his shooting, working on his handle. And next thing you know, man, you got something. So,
the thought process, the thought concept of, Paul Reed and this guy, Trey Murphy, dominating the G League next year, just running up and down the court. The Blue Coats were really top 3 in pace. All they do is shoot threes and run up and down the court. It is a lot of fun to watch, by the way. I really recommend it. Yeah. I love that brand of basketball. Kind of like the Miami Heat a little bit. But if like that, it would be so much fun. But you brought up Matisse Thybulle, and you look at how, this guy just dominates cutting to the basket. You look at Matisse Thybulle in his cuts. Last year in 2019, 1.53 points per possession, 90th percentile. Under Doc Rivers, 1.09 points per possession cutting to the basket, 18th percentile. Those numbers really drop. So my only concern is would Doc be able to unlock this ability for Trey Murphy? Any quick thoughts on that?
I have some thoughts about the Sixers' stagnant offense. Yes, I think it can be a little bit painful to watch at times. But again, when your best player is playing at MVP level, it doesn't matter. He's going to score. He's going to get to the free throw line. That's all you're trying to get to, score points. So I think under Doc, he may struggle to find his footing. I think in a different NBA program where they're very creative how they deploy offense, this guy could be a big-time steal. We'll see. And there's no guarantee that Doc will be here in 2 to 3 years. I think Doc's directives are pretty clear. It's championship or bust. And I think the Sixers may not be 100% in for the long haul with Doc if they're not getting the results that they expect. So,
all right, guys, that is Trey Murphy, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm head over heels. I would be shocked. We're gonna keep doing more and more of these guys. So stay tuned. All the Sixers draft targets, but this guy is definitely going to be very high on my big board come draft night in July. Tiago, tell everybody what you got going on. Where can we find it?
Yeah, so we're doing all the preview stuff coming up every week. More and more prospects are going to come up. There's a lot more fun guys to study, local guys, national guys, whatever guys you think we need to cover. We probably have it covered for you guys. So doing that, and then just keeping an eye on the NBA playoffs, man. It starts on Sunday. The Sixers are really, really good, and they have a really good chance to make it to the NBA Finals and win a championship.
NBA Finals run starts tomorrow versus the Wizards. We'll be definitely be doing a post game. I might be doing a pregame. I don't know. I'm so psyched, man. I'm so psyched. Yeah. I might just do a pregame and just kind of break it down, what I'm watching, what I'm looking for, what's the biggest storylines, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have Parshawn saying thank you. These stuff are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
That means so much. All right, guys, if you love the Sixers, please give this video a like. Trey Murphy. Trey freaking Murphy, man. That guy. Anyway, follow my man, Tiago.
Chris is in love with this guy.
I can't stop smiling. He is Tiago. Follow him on Twitter at @Tscabia. Best Sixers Twitter follow, period. You'll thank me later again. I am Dives, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. We'll catch you next time. Stay awesome.
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man, Embiid just Poster right, Russell Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get it.